the supply is low, the demand is high, and that those that are in demand know that they are in demand, and they have people working on their behalves to make their situation as lucrative as possible. The numbers are just that's just what happens. But I will say this, I'm very thankful about saying this. And as you guys know, I really never mentioned anything about what's happened in the past and who we had and why we had who we had. But I will say this, and I'm extremely grateful to our administration, and it starts with President Amarides and our entire athletic department, and Jeremiah has been incredibly valuable and supportive in that too, and the commitment that we've made. I mean, I know we put a statement out that talked about what we wanted to do moving forwards in terms of our ability to attract talent to Columbia and what that means. There's really only one way to do that. I mean, there's more than one way, but the number one factor in that is having competitive resources. And I'm really happy with the commitment that we have made, and I give a ton of credit again to our president and to our board and to our athletic administration for making a commitment that allows us to be competitive. It's part of the reason why these interactions are the way that they are. Numbers are changing. You're going back. It's like an auction in some ways at certain times, which I don't love, but in some of these situations we were in, it was nice to have the paddle to be able to be the last guy standing in some of these kids, and so that's why we've ended up with some of the guys that we were able to get.
Some real grabby words in there: commitment and competitive resources. What exactly does that mean? How do you define commitment when you're only giving about $5 million or less to build a roster? How much more do you give in order to say we're committed? How do you define competitive resources? Competitive to what? Competitive to a Kentucky that's doling out $22, $23 million? Or competitive to the likes of an Auburn that's doling around $10 to $11 million? How much exactly are they getting? We're going to ask David Cloninger, the Post and Courier, that on the other side. You're listening to the Postgame Show on 107.5 The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Here at The Game, we're expanding our local lineup. Starting on Monday, May 11th at 6 p.m., we debut Connecting Carolinas with Scott Hamilton. Presented by FanStream Sports. From 6 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, right here on The Game. You could also ask Scott if he can still do that backflip on ice skates.
Most of us can't imagine watching figure skating without Scott Hamilton being a part of it.
What's that? Oh, it's not that Scott Hamilton. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Sponsored by SC Education Lottery. Did you know that since 2002, more than 2.8 million lottery-funded scholarships such as the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow scholarships have been awarded to South Carolina students? Playing for fun is a win for education. Visit SCEducationLottery.com/educationwins for more information.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. Protecting
Awesome,
America.
Dave. Thank you, buddy.
Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law.
Joe Sandifer, Esquire, 11915 Plaza Drive, Suite 301, Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, 29576.
Let's text and tell you with approved credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. The Carpocalypse at JT's Kia is happening now. Save thousands on brand new JT's Kia to escape the zombie horde and back from the dead cost. JT's got 0% for 72 months. We'll pay $5,000 over book value for your trade. JT says escape high gas prices with $1,000 in gas with every new vehicle. Don't miss JT JT's Carpocalypse sale happening now. JT's Kia, I-77 at Killian Road or Greystone Boulevard.
Columbia, Josh loves the spring, but he hates to paint, so he called Rhino Shield.
We have a cedar-sided home at the edge of the woods, painted like 1980s beige. We wanted something that was more of a mid-century and modern look. We were driving around and we saw a sign in somebody's yard that said Rhino Shield. It's not paint.
It's not paint, it's better.
We gave Rhino Shield a call, and they were fantastic with the arrangement on the schedule. The 25-year guarantee was important to us. This is our forever home, and we want to make sure that whatever we're doing is going to last a long time.
Columbia, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield now for 15% off the regular price.
I'd say if you're thinking about Rhino Shield, just do it. It's been 2 years now, and it still looks like the day it went on.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer is limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit RhinoShieldCarolina.com. Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. Money is on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Average Owls. Our chairs sit, our tables stand.
You're not average. Your marketing results should be either. Cumulus Digital outperforms industry benchmarks by over 25%. See what Smarter Digital can do for you at cumulusdigital.com.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app. Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
The Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube. It's time to open the Gamecock Notebook on the Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network.
Going over the Kentucky Derby odds. I have no clue. I'm not going to pretend to know. I'm not even going to act like I have even a nugget of an idea of who can win this race, and I'll probably resort to going by the name test. Here's a name. Here's a name that's got my attention because it makes me think of our guest. Horse number 5, Right to Party. If there was ever a horse more appropriate for David Cloninger, the Post and Courier, I have yet to find it. DC, what do you think? Right to Party, 26-1.
I mean, I think I'd have to take some of that. I mean, the only horse that would pique my interest that I would bet on other than that would be if there was a horse named Glue Factory.
Yeah, Hamburger Mill, something like that. Yeah, there's Incredibolt. I kind of like Pavlovian. Only smart people know what that means. Pavlovian. So happy, maybe? Are you going to watch the Derby?
Oh, of course. I mean, I married a Kentucky girl. It's kind of like a commandment in our house.
Yeah. You know, I heard it's awesome to bet on it. It's a shame we can't do it here, isn't it?
Well, you know, there's always ways around that.
We'll discuss that off air with David Cloninger, the Post and Courier. You can follow him on X at DC and PC. DC, we were playing a clip earlier in the program, Lamont Paris on the tour down in Charleston yesterday, and he was asked about going in and negotiating with players and roster management, this, that, and the other. And he threw these words out there, quote, competitive resources and, quote, commitment. When it comes to South Carolina basketball, what do you consider to be, quote, competitive resources? What do you consider to be commitment?
Well, it's just being able to keep up with the Joneses. I mean, it's been no secret that even within the substantial increase in NIL funds for last year's team, it was still the bottom in the conference, and the year before it was the bottom in the conference. Now, that's not to say that you can't win with bottom of the conference funds, because they won 26 games and got to the NCAA tournament 3 years ago now, and their NIL budget was actually much lower than it has been the past 2 years. But that said, prices keep going up. You got to go with what the market dictates it is. And if you don't have the money, you're probably always going to be trying to play catch up. Now, that's not the reason they've been so bad these past 2 years, especially last year. I think they had the money and they did a colossal job of roster mismanage it and poor player evaluation. But it always is a thing to say, well, you know, if this guy's got this much money and I only have half of that, how do you expect me to compete? So they're going to have the money this year. They're already shelling it out for this roster. So that can't be an excuse anymore.
What do you think is competitive, though? I mean, we've heard numbers of 5 million, maybe a little less is what they had last year. Can you see them maybe doubling it, or is that pie in the sky?
I think that it will definitely be in double figures. I couldn't give you an exact amount, but the fact is that with the industry standard, as they say, getting up to about that way, double figures, then USC will be in there. Now, maybe the low end of the double figures, but double figures is double figures.
Yeah, no doubt, especially when you're below 5 million last year. Well, DC, another big part of what's going on with South Carolina basketball, roster construction, not just roster management, roster construction. 12 players gone, either out of eligibility or transferred. And they're working the portal pretty hard and loading up on Europeans, big Europeans, a couple 6'10" guys from Europe going to be on the roster next year. What's your take on how Lamont's putting this roster together? What do you expect it to look like come October, November?
Well, simply put, when you have only 3 guys coming back from last year, it just goes into you don't need to concentrate on filling X position so much as you need to go get players. Now, last year they had a bad problem at rim protection. They could not score inside. There was just nobody in the middle that could stop anybody else on the opponent from dominating in the paint. So they knew they needed to fix that. That's where you get some of the tall guys that they've gone ahead and gotten specifically with those European players. So they have addressed that to a point. They've gotten some shooters. They still don't have a true point guard, which has been a glaring weakness the past 2 seasons. But they are still some guys out there that they, as Lamont Paris said, there's always a lag time between when you know it's done and when they can announce it. Specifically mentioning that some of the international players may still be playing right now and have a chance to join their national team. So there will be some movement, probably, as Lamont said, in the next hours, minutes, days. We'll see how it goes. But the fact is they just need to go get players and really try to build a whole new team. And they're off to a good start, but they've still got 6 spots to fill.
How would you describe his mindset? I know you're not in his head, but how would you describe his mindset or how he seems to be handling himself throughout the entirety of this? I mean, this is a guy who knows he's under a lot of pressure. He's a guy who knows that at a lot of places he would have already been fired. How would you describe how he's handling all this and working?
I mean, if he's got stress on him, he's certainly not showing it. He was as glib and as humorous as has ever been yesterday in Charleston. And he even compared the roster management toward making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I said, "Excuse me?" And he said, "Yeah. So 2 years ago, your front court was your peanut butter. That's when they had Colin Murray, Boyles, and some guys on the inside, and that was good. But then they had no jelly. The jelly was the backcourt last year, the perimeter guys. That's where all their scoring came from. So you have to have both sides of the sandwich, you know what I'm saying? And you have to have them put them both together. So that's how they're looking, or at least he compared it to building this year's roster. You got to have a little bit of both because, last year, I think I said at the beginning of the season, he said the words that you never want to hear when you're previewing a basketball team. Well, we're going to shoot a lot of threes this year. I said, oh, good. Oh, boy. And sure enough, it came back to bite him in the butt. So they know that they need a mix of scoring inside and out. They cannot just allow one area to be dominated and think they can overcome it with their strength. So there you get the peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
DC, we've only got a few minutes left, but I'd be remiss if I didn't go down this path with you. I'm trying to be an optimist, but I'm going to also be a realist. We could be in a situation in 12 months where South Carolina could have undergone 3 major coaching changes, or perhaps already in the middle of 3 coaching changes. You get what I'm saying if things go sideways with football, if things go sideways again with men's basketball, and, of course, the ongoing search for a baseball coach. Kind of put us in perspective where that is historically when it comes to South Carolina and what kind of immense pressure that put under Jeremiah Donati.
Well, just looking back, I don't think they've even approached something close to that situation since the 1940s. You know, when you had a bunch of guys coaching sports in different areas, then you had to put in the absence of coaches due to World War II. So that's the kind of history that you're up against. But it's one of those things where everything seems to have gone to pot at once. And, you know, you just got to deal with it. I mean, obviously Lamont was given another year. They publicly stated, hey, we're going to give him the support, which that pretty much puts the onus on him to win this year. They've already made a baseball coaching move, which they should have done last year, frankly. And then with Shane coming up in the fall, yes, the buyout will be immense, but it's also SEC football. You know, you have to do these things if you're going to stay competitive. So the pressure is on him to win. But if it happens, it happens. As a sports writer, you never want to see them happen. You especially never want to see 3 happen all at once. But, you know, the first one's already in motion. So Shane, Lamont, get to winning, and then I won't have to worry about it. And that's the main thing, preserving my well-being.
He's David Cloninger of the Post and Courier. He's going to put $5 on Dannon Bourbon at 14-1 in tomorrow's Kentucky Derby. You can follow him on X at DC and PC. There's your horse, DC, Dannon Bourbon.
Who's Dan?
Who's Dan? Dan at 14-1. It's got bourbon in the name. It's got your name written all over it.
Well, okay. I'm more of a fan of cheap whiskey, but we'll see.
DC, appreciate you hopping on, Bubby.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, it's Dave Cloninger of the Post and Courier. You can follow him on X at DC and PC. Yeah, that's a stark reality. And it's the side of history you don't want to be on, that you could be in the legitimate situation of having either made 3 massive coaching changes or in the process of it this time next year. Wrap your minds around that. That's not the kind of history you want to be on. And he framed it perfectly, going back to the 40s. I'm trying, and again, my feeble little mind, and maybe I can pull it off during the break. I'm trying to think of schools that have had to do both basketball and football in the same season. I'm struggling right now. But if things go sideways again for football, if they go sideways again for basketball, there could be changes there. Everybody knows it. Baseball already undergoing a massive change. That's a signature sport at South Carolina, too. I don't have to tell you. Make no mistake about it. But could you imagine what would be the national perception of the University of South Carolina if on May 1st, 2027, they have a new men's basketball coach, new football coach, and a baseball coach who is in his first season? Ponder that during the break. You're listening to the Postgame Show, 107.5 The Game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
This hour of in-show listening on 107.5 The Game is sponsored by QC Kinetics in West Columbia, the non-surgical regenerative orthopedic specialists of the Midlands. Request your consultation today by dialing pound 250 and use keyword QC Kinetics.
Warning to all sports fans. If you're still using a sportsbook, you're getting robbed blind. Here are the facts. Sportsbooks skim your payout for profit. On a $100 position, they take around $9 just to let you play. It's theft in broad daylight. On that same $100 position, sportsbooks pay out $500. Polymarket pays $650. That's because Polymarket is a prediction market, not a sportsbook. You trade against other people, not the house. That means more money for you and less for those greedy sportsbooks. Even better, it's available in all 50 states. Polymarket is so confident you'll never go back to those thieving sportsbooks that they're giving you $20 free for your first trade. Just download Polymarket in the App Store and use promo code PAW20 to unlock your $20 free trade. That's promo code PAW20 for a free $20 trade. It's time to stop letting sportsbooks steal from you. Delete that app and join the millions using Polymarket. Download Polymarket and use code PAW20 for $20 free.
Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply.
Enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215. Complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Plus text tags and title with approved credit. Call 866-243-4623 for details. JT's Car Apocalypse sale is happening now at JT's Jeep Ram. Save thousands on brand new Jeeps and Rams to escape the zombie horde at back from the dead costs. We've got 0% for 72 months. We'll pay $5,000 over book value for your trade. Escape high gas prices with $1,000 in gas with every new vehicle. End of the world savings and everything must go at JT's Jeep Ram, 378 Lexington or Greystone Boulevard. Declaration of Deal sales event.
The future stars of the PGA Tour are coming to Columbia. The Colonial Life Charity Classic is bringing championship golf to the Wood Creek Club May 14th through 17th. Be there to experience the intensity up close as tomorrow's champions battle it out on every hole. Bring the family and take in the tournament atmosphere, excitement, and a full week of entertainment built for all ages. Don't miss your chance to witness the journey to the top. The Colonial Life Charity Classic. Get your tickets now.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 1075 The Game app and stream us for free. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
On Friday afternoon, traffic so I-26, of course, heading outbound, westbound between right around Malfunction Junction, really all the way down to almost Harbison Boulevard. Stop and go traffic. We have hard scrabble Wilson Boulevard with a wreck there. 20 westbound between Wilson Boulevard and Broad River Road. Well, traffic is moving extremely slow through there. It's all clumped up, barely moving at all. So a problem there. 77 northbound between Farrow Road and Killian Road. Slow traffic there as well. Slight chance of rain tonight, but tomorrow 90% chance of rain, 60 degrees for your high. Wow. Sunday, though, will be better. Lots of sunshine, 71 for your high. And then Monday, 78 for a high. And we'll get back to really warm, the 80s on Tuesday.
It's time for our drive around the SEC on the Postgame Show.
Georgia on the mountaintop. Demons be gone, and the drought is over. National champions.
On the Game Network and on 1075 The Game app.
Second half, final hour, the post-game show. Scott Hamilton in for the next 30 minutes. I want to thank David Cloninger of the Post and Courier for stopping by. Always a hoot. Former coworker of mine. Dave's the best. And we were talking about South Carolina men's basketball and what is competitive, what shows commitment with regards to the university giving Lamont Paris what he needs to be successful. And first of all, absolutely, positively good on them for doing it if they mean it. If he is indeed getting what he needs in order to transform that program or be competitive, or let's just frame it like this, to save his job, good on the university. Don't bring a dude back if you're not going to give him the stuff to cook. You know what I'm saying? Don't. You could have gone ahead and made a change, sucked up the buyout, moved forward. But putting it in a positive direction giving him what he says he needs. Because I also have to think this. Okay, let's role play here for a moment. I'm Lamont Paris. I'm called into Jeremiah Donati's office or whatever, and they're trying to determine his future a couple months ago after the season. 13-19, 4-14 Southeastern Conference. Just another bummer of a year. A far cry from that 26-win season of a couple of years ago, 2023, 2024. And I go in, and they're trying to determine, well, Lamont, you didn't have the best year. It's been a pattern. People are wanting a change, and we are kind of hamstrung by this buyout, but we might have to suck it up in order to make a change. And Lamont, I'm sure, said, hey, I get it. The numbers are what they are. The record is the record. So then Jeremiah goes, okay, well, what would you need to win? If we don't want to have to pay this exorbitant buyout, if we don't need to, we would rather not make a change, because the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. Make no mistake about that. And I'm not calling Lamont Paris the devil, but you get what I'm saying. Familiarity. So he's looked at him and he said, what can we do to make this situation work? And Lamont, I'm sure, gave him a hard and fast number. They negotiated to some degree, and here they have what they have. But how much is that? David Cloninger of the Post and Courier told us last segment, perhaps double digits rather, in the millions. So you go from a little less than 5 to 10. That's massive growth, but is that still enough? You have to wonder, can even $10 million make hay, not just in the SEC, but overall in college basketball? And what will we do at the end of the year to say it was a successful season or not? How would we quantify it? Is it going back to the NCAA tournament? Is it finishing top half of the SEC? Better? 20 wins, I think, is the baseline. I think that's the bare minimum. But will we also have to factor in a postseason appearance? Do you need a postseason appearance and a win? Depends on how much you're spending, I guess. What's certain is that this is the tipping point. This is where the rubber meets the road. They either win games and they look better and also play better, or there's going to be a coaching change this time next year. That's fact. It's reality. It's obvious. You don't need me to tell you that. I'm just dying to know, though, how does commitment look when you're talking about the athletic department at South Carolina making a quote-unquote commitment? What does competitive resources look like? How do they measure up to how they would define the phrase competitive resources at other institutions, a Tennessee, an Ole Miss, a Texas, when it comes to men's basketball? What is the end game? Is a championship what they want? Given the history, the sad history, let's go ahead and say that, of South Carolina basketball, men's basketball, let's make that clear, is merely being competitive an achievement? Is that a victory in and of itself? That's something that everybody associated with the program and the athletic department needs to come to grips with, that they have to reconcile what is a success. Some places, if you're not competing for championships, you're failing. The old Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. Is that the mindset at South Carolina? I don't think so. Certainly better than 13-19 is the standard. I would have to think they would want to at least hit that baseline. But what is the ultimate goal? Just being satisfied with being mediocre? Mediocrity, man. Mediocrity would be good right now considering how bad they've been, but if that is your highest aspiration, I think that's pretty damning. Just a lot to unpack with this entire situation. And God bless Lamont Paris. As David Cloninger of the Post and Courier told us last segment, God bless him for still being able to engage people, to discuss honestly about the situation, to have a sense of humor with regards to it, and to not take himself too seriously. He knows that his record is his record. You are what your record says you are. Okay? When he came out of that 26-win season a couple of years ago, it said that he was the hottest thing, man. It got him a contract extension, and he was the guy. When now his record says, your buyout saved your job. A lot of places you would have been sent out. You'd have been hitting the bricks, pal. And he knows it. He knows it. And he's able to say, hey, it's on me. I've got to win games. I've got to put together the roster. I have to make the tough decisions on what to do with regards to how my coaching staff is going to be constructed, with regards to what our roster is going to look like, how we're going to allocate money to build this roster. And yeah, he's brought in people to help him. He's brought in consultants, consigliaries, whatever you want to call them, to give him some guidance with regards to roster construction, and that's fine. That's fine. Happens all the time, all over the place in college basketball. Shoot, University of Kentucky's using a computer. Something called Real Blue or True Blue or something, some kind of proprietary database that is basically telling Mark Pope, okay, here's how much this guy's worth. Here's how much NIL you need to give him. Here's how much of the roster share, blah, 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 revenue share. And it, in one way, it kind of cuts a coach off at the knees. Because one of the traits, one of the strengths of a good basketball coach historically has been the ability to evaluate talent, to figure out a player's worth, not monetarily per se, but for having a valued roster spot. Just being on the roster was worth a lot. Having a scholarship was worth a lot. That was what you traded. That was part of the exchange. Now there's money involved. I get it. But to bring in a computer to make that evaluation for you, to determine that, okay, I have $10 million, and according to this database, this player, a shooting guard, is worth 2.5. It's money ball, but at the same time, it's not great when you're a coach, I guess, because you're supposed to be able to know, man, that's the guy. I need to give him this much. Maybe it's making it more simple. Or perhaps this is the blatant truth. It's making it more like professional game. Okay? Teams have general managers. Teams have player evaluation guys. And leaning on a computer isn't a whole lot different than a GM at the professional level who would say, well, we're going to give him this much a year and this many years, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of like being in a math class and you're allowed to use your calculator. That's probably the best analogy my feeble little mind can come up with on this Friday before the Kentucky Derby. We'll wrap things up, see what we missed on the other side. Close out the postgame show, 107.5 The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This is Elijah Campbell from 107.5 The Game and the Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. We know times are tough, but we would love to help you out and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Presented by Chumba Casino, your online casino for plays, spins, and a chance to score. Must be 21 and over. Terms at ChumbaCasino.com. The New York Knicks decimated the Atlanta Hawks 140-89 to advance to the Eastern Conference semis. The Knicks will play the winner of Game 7 between the Celtics and the 76ers. That game is on Saturday night in Boston after the 76ers extended the series last night. I'm Adam Abdallah.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The U.S. Treasury just released its official financial report for 2025. Buried in it is a startling admission. By its own numbers, it appears the U.S. government is insolvent. When governments go this deep in debt, they print money, raise taxes, or cut benefits, none of which can help protect you. That's why people move part of their savings into physical gold and silver. Call Monetary Gold at 877-NOW-GOLD for their complimentary gold and silver guide. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. Do it before the next headline, not after. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Hallmark Cards presents Mother's Day at Walgreens. Celebrate every mother figure in your life with a Hallmark card at Walgreens. Show how much she means to you and how deeply she's loved. A Hallmark card is the perfect way to say thank you for all she does. Don't forget, Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th. Visit Walgreens today to find the perfect Hallmark Mother's Day card and make her feel truly special. Mother's Day means Hallmark cards at Walgreens.
Progressive presents perfectly bad excuses for missing stuff to spend more time on your motorcycle.
Hey, Suze, can't make it to your party. Gotta defrost some chicken. There's tenders, boneless thighs. Gotta keep an eye on it.
Now that was a bad excuse. If you love your vehicle this much, get customized coverage from Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000. Use code INSTANT to borrow up to $10,000.
The Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 1075 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube. And now, Jay versus the Internet. It's the Postgame Show on the Game Network.
Making a final lap, final hour of the post-game show on Friday, the very first day of May. Don't forget South Carolina baseball tomorrow. We're going to play two. 1:45 pregame, 2 o'clock first pitch against LSU. You can listen to it on 107.5 The Game in Columbia and 100.3 in Myrtle Beach. And don't forget about the Crescent Construction Grand Slam contest. If a Gamecock hitter goes yard with the bases juiced, you could win cash. The pot goes up $25 every game. Sponsored by Crescent Construction. All you got to do is go to 1075thegame.com and register. Big event tomorrow, the Run for the Roses Kentucky Derby. 152nd running of the Kentucky Derby. You talk about an iconic event. I've been to several derbies. It's a lot of work. It is so much work. I'm talking about, well, you got to dress up. You don't have to, but yeah, it's decorum. You want to get dressed up. You got to sit in traffic. It's crowded as all get out the night before, the night of, the morning of. It's just insane. And when you get there, it's just a mass of humanity. Split into two lanes. You have the people with the reserve seats. Then you have the infield, which, thank you, Lord Jesus, I have not ever had to sit in the infield, but a lot of people do, and a lot of people love it. General admission seating, they're just over there going crazy. It's like Woodstock. They have a race atop the porta potties. Like, people will get on top, there's like a row of porta potties. They'll have a race. That is insane in the membrane. I want no part of that. But God bless them, they're having fun. They're having a blast. They're paying $21 for mint juleps, but they're still having fun. That used to be a problem, too, trying to get a drink. When you would go to the Derby in years past, if you're in reserve seating, you would have to make a decision. You'd have to say, okay, now, first of all, know this. I should preface it with this. The Kentucky Derby is actually not the only race. Some people don't realize that. Some people think it's a one-race deal. No, it's actually the 10th race. I want to fact check myself. I think it's 10th. It might be 11th. Either way, there are more races. So it's the 12th. It's the 12th race. See, I'm glad I did that. It's the 12th race of the day. So there's buku races leading up to it. So you go and you make a day of it. All these different types of races too. But you have to make decisions in previous years how you're going to go about your business. You're in between races. You can either A, go to the restroom, prudent, place a bet, which, is part of the experience, or get a cocktail. Of course, it's mint julep. You're at the Kentucky Derby. But which do you choose? Because only the most savvy and lucky patron at the Kentucky Derby can do more than one of those things in years past. The lines are so long. Are you going to wait in line to make a bet? Are you going to wait in line to get a drink? Or God forbid, you're going to wait in line to go to the bathroom. And by the time you accomplish two, perhaps just one of those tasks, you've missed a race. Or at least the start of the race. You're catching it on the back end. Not so much a problem anymore. They very prudently have bundled together the entire race experience for people outside of the GA seats. Now your food and drinks are bundled in. You go and you go to like a buffet, or you see a mint julep, you grab the mint julep, you go sit down. Or, thanks to the proliferation of mobile gambling, you pick up your phone and you place your bet. You can still go to the little gates and kiosks or whatever and place your bet, because some people like to hold on to the actual paper betting slip. It's like people who clutch onto their newspaper. I still like to feel a newspaper. I like to hold up a newspaper. I like to read a newspaper. I'm ink-stained, I guess, from my previous life. There's people who like to feel the betting slip. I get it. But most of society now will just pick up their phone and they'll place the bet while they're at the track. So it just streamlines the whole process. You actually get to enjoy more of the experience than having to wait in line. The rub on all this is that it costs you a bunch. It's around $875, I think, is what I saw for the cheapest reserve seat, all the way up to about $6,000 to go on up into the upper levels, third floor seating, millionaires row and all that. But that's also where we are as a society. We want more perks. Attendance at the Derby has been dialed back from the 170,000 10 years ago that saw American Pharoah begin its march towards the Triple Crown. And there was nothing guaranteed that day. We knew American Pharoah was a good horse, but we certainly weren't that positive that it would secure the first Triple Crown in 37 years. But in the years since, attendance is down because they've done some retrofitting. They've done some renovations. They've put more quality areas in with fewer seats. It's kind of like what they're doing at Williams-Brice. More amenities. People want more bang for their buck. The result has been slightly lower attendance. Still going to get 150,000 people. That's a ton of people. But nothing like 170,000, the all-time record. And they're also enlisting social media influencers, actually encouraging social media influencers to attend. They're targeting the next generation of fans, and not just for the Derby, but for horse racing in general. Remember, this is a sport that we really only pay attention to 3 times a year. And it's become even more mundane actually attending in person thanks to the proliferation of sports gambling, mobile sports gambling. Go to the track. Fewer people go to Aqueduct in Saratoga when they're not running a Triple Crown race and all that. So they want social media influencers to attend these races, show what a wonderful time it is, and then try to get the next generation interested in the sport and build for the future. It's a very prudent strategy. The Masters is doing it too, but it just seems kind of gross at Augusta National. That's it for the postgame show. I want to thank Captain Dave. Want to thank David Kloniger of the Post and Courier for joining us on the AAA Heating and Air phone line. I'm Scott Hamilton. Hit me up on social media at Scott8Sports. Until next time.
Broadcast.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay, thank you, sir, and talk to you sometime soon. Are you on Monday, or do you know?